Minister. Good morning.
Morning. Minister, what are you going to do about 21st subjects?
Nice to see you in place on time.
Indeed.
You have not used
with respect to 21st, I mean, it's working through a process with Public Works and the NCC, and we'll make an announcement.
You have not used anything on the new project approvals.
Because the important thing is that we respect the law, and the designation requires consultations in advance of designation. We're moving forward at speed, but we're doing it in the right way. Consultation with Indigenous partners, with provinces, with all stakeholders.
Is there any truth to the political reports on Minister Jolie's comments blowing up trade talks?
Vous savez qu'il y a la Banque de défense, donc tout le monde se l'arrache, la ville ici d'Ottawa aussi. Et là, on apprend que Toronto brandit la menace d'un référendum pour disqualifier en quelque sorte Montréal. Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de cette stratégie-là?
Je n'ai pas connaissance de cette stratégie, donc je peux difficilement la commenter.
Mais est-ce que vous pensez que ça pourrait influencer? Parce que c'est comme le gouvernement fédéral qui va choisir au final quelle ville obtient cette banque de défense. Est-ce que le fait qu'il pourrait, en théorie, y avoir un référendum un jour au Québec...
Il y a d'autres ministres qui sont impliqués dans ce processus-là.
Are you planning further legislative changes to fast-track projects in this country beyond C5? Sorry.
We have a lot of work to do to continue progress on reforming a regulatory process, make sure everyone is heard, but also make sure they go faster. I don't think that's a secret.
Il y a un projet de loi qui s'en vient là-dessus. Il y a un projet de loi qui s'en vient là-dessus.
On travaille sur des dispositions législatives, administratives et autres.
Donc, par rapport à la clarté, le premier ministre en a parlé il y a 2 jours en disant qu'un référendum en Alberta devrait respecter la loi sur la clarté. Pour vous, c'est quoi une majorité claire dans un référendum? Si vous pouvez répondre à la question.
Je pense pas que ce matin soit la matinée pour commenter.
Mais vous n'avez pas d'opinion là-dessus?
Oh, oui.
Bon, mais qu'est-ce que c'est une majorité claire pour vous? Attendez, qu'est-ce que c'est une majorité claire pour vous?
Une majorité claire, évidemment, il faut voir la question.
Why did you put the Defense Agency into the budget legislation, the second budget legislation, instead of making it its own bill?
It's a pretty administrative sort of organizational change, so we thought
Just so I can understand.
It's
a finance measure.
Well, indeed, that's why it's in the budget.
Just so I can understand your position on resource projects, possible legislation could be coming to
Possible, yeah.
Okay. Est-ce que juste en français là-dessus sur la réglementation, là, vous privilégiez plutôt la réglementation pour accélérer?
Je pense pas que ce soit une surprise qu'on en parle depuis l'arrivée de M. Carney, d'accélérer les projets tout en respectant les processus, les consultations qui s'imposent.
Et juste pour l'histoire du référendum, si la question c'est voulez-vous, oui ou non, que la province, que ce soit le Québec ou l'Alberta, se sépare du Canada et que le vote, c'est 50% plus 1. Est-ce que pour vous, c'est une majorité acceptable?
Encore des questions qui commencent avec si. Ce sont des questions difficiles.
Oui, mais les gens aimeraient... Vous ne pensez pas que les Canadiens ont besoin d'une réponse claire à cette question?
La clarté est toujours une bonne chose.
Bien, vous n'en avez pas beaucoup.
Worried that there's not enough Canadian nationalist voices speaking up in the face of Alberta separatism?
I'm sorry?
Are you concerned that there aren't enough nationalist pro-Canadian voices speaking up in the face of Alberta separatism?
Well, with respect to separatism, as you know, I am from Alberta, and to me, there are lots of voices stepping up to speak with respect to separatism, and certainly, from my perspective, I believe that most Albertans do understand, and certainly people in my riding, people I've had discussions with, care about our province, but they care about our country as well. And they want our province to remain in Canada, and that's all I have to say.
The Prime Minister yesterday talked about, 2 days ago, talked about the Clarity Act. He said that, if there's a referendum in Alberta, the Clarity Act needs to be respected. What, in your opinion, is a clear majority in a referendum? Like, what percentage of vote would make a yes for your government?
Just with respect to that question, I would defer to our legal counsel and their
You don't have an
advice.
opinion on that?
I would defer to our legal counsel with respect to what a proper opinion is.
But it's a government decision. It's a parliamentary decision.
I'm sorry, I've answered the question. Thank you.
You don't have any thoughts just as an Albertan?
Solomon, in your response to the Privacy Commissioner's report yesterday on ChatGPT?
Yes. First of all, hi.
Hello.
Look, we read the report, the Privacy Commissioner, and the other commissioners' reports clearly. We appreciate the work they do across jurisdictions. I would say, let me note that OpenAI took steps in the wake of the, in the wake of the April 23rd investigation that started to make the changes, which we do note that the Privacy Commissioner and the others were satisfied with that. We expect every single social media company to protect Canadians' identities, their privacy, and their data. And we'll be coming forward with a change to the framework to make sure that happens.
When?
Good question. Their environment's changing, as you know, AI chatbots. So very soon we'll be updating, along with many other elements, working with my counterparts on social media, to make sure that we keep Canadians' data safe. So we'll be updating the framework very soon.
But why are you so late on your Q1 deadline? We don't understand. You went so fast with the advisory group and so on. What is taking so much time?
You are so critical about going too fast, and now you're saying it's too long. Look, two things. We're not waiting for the strategy. The strategy is important. I'm very encouraged to see the enthusiasm around the strategy, and which will be coming shortly. But let's just be clear, we're not waiting. We have, as you know, our compute challenges in the middle of going on right now to select building the kind of sustainable compute infrastructure. Our public compute access fund is up. Building the public access supercomputer, that's up and running. Our Sovereign Technology Alliance is up and running. With Germany, you saw the Cohere Alpha deal. So there's a lot going on. The strategy will be part of that. Look, it has to capture one of the most important elements of what's going on in our economy, which is the rise of AI. And we're not going to rush it. We've consulted. I was with labor leaders last week. I was with environmental leaders. I was with Gen Z. So we're making sure we've got everything exactly right. And in the meantime, we're doing an enormous amount of work, and it will be coming very shortly. Thanks.
70% of Canadians in a new poll released today say they're in favor of age restrictions for both social media and AI chatbots. Is that going to factor into your thinking on a potential age restriction?
We are looking very closely at all sorts of regulations around social media. You've talked to Mark Miller about it. Yeah, look, I'm a parent. We all know the harms of social media that have done, and we are looking very closely at making sure that we protect citizens and we get it right. And I've said this before, we're going to be open to the opportunities of technology, candid about the concerns, and you're going to see that. We're absolutely looking closely at that. Absolutely. Thanks.
Candid about the concerns. Is there any need to regulate just how data centers use water and other and electricity, since lots of communities where these are being proposed, there is a big concern there. Does there need to be a national standard around how data centers use utilities?
So first of all, those provincial regulators are in charge of energy allocations, and so a lot of that's provincial jurisdiction. I am talking almost daily with my provincial counterparts to talk about what kind of data centers. Every province is making decisions about that. From a national point of view, we have RFPs out on data centers, and we have criteria that you will soon see shortly. But yes, closed-loop water, energy reuse, Indigenous participation. There are key criteria that are really important to the federal government to make sure that we build the infrastructure right. I will say this, infrastructure like this they're like major projects. We're going to build this country, but we're going to make sure that we're building it transparently, and we're going to do it in the right way to benefit all Canadians, with those factors as a key element as well. Thanks.
Thanks, Minister.
Thank you, sir.
Je vais y aller d'abord. Écoutez, nous venons de donner une mise à jour au cabinet sur la situation. Nous allons avoir un statement qui va sortir dans peu de temps, et nous avons mis en place une réponse stratégique pan-gouvernementale sur la question, et je travaille de près avec ma collègue Anita là-dessus.
Merci beaucoup, Marjorie. We have stood up a strategic response team, which is a whole of government team working on this issue. I have deployed consular officials who are currently en route to Tenerife, and the consular support will be in place when the ship reaches port which won't be for a few days. All public health protocols will be followed when the support is being offered to the Canadians and thereafter. I will also indicate that we have contacted the Canadians by email after obtaining the manifest of the ship, and again offering all support to those Canadians should they wish to have it. Finally, I've been in touch with my counterparts in the Netherlands, in the UK, and in Spain this morning so that we are staying coordinated on the protocols to be followed from a public health standpoint, and we will offer support to each other's citizens should that be required.
Will that
isolate them? How can you not take questions on something like this?
And can we just ask you about this suggestion that there's going to need to be additional regulations to fast-track pipelines? Is that something your government's working on?
Additional regulation?
Making changes to fast-track pipelines beyond what was already in Bill C-5.
Well, I think from the north we have to recognize that the regulatory regimes were born out of the modern treaties. So we're not looking, and those are constitutionally protected under Section 35. So anything that we do in the north of 60, has to maintain the integrity of those processes. Yeah, thank you.
Yesterday we had a bunch of cattle producers in town talking about worries about Mercosur. Just anything you want to say just about where beef exports land on this?
I think the conversations are ongoing, the negotiations are ongoing, and I met with Tyler, the president, yesterday, and we had a good conversation.
Thank you.